The massive ships appeared without warning. They emerged from the darkness beyond Neptune's orbit, their metal hulls gleaming under the distant sunlight. Earth's deep space monitoring stations picked up the signals first. Hundreds of vessels, each larger than the largest cities humanity had ever built. Admiral James Walker stood at the United Earth Defense Command Center, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays showing the approaching fleet. "How many?" he asked, his voice steady despite the tension in the room. "Over 300 capital ships, sir. And those are just the ones we can detect," Lieutenant Tom Rogers reported, his fingers flying over the control panel. "They're maintaining formation and moving toward Mars." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades, but theory and reality were very different things. The defense platforms around Earth hummed to life, their automated systems tracking the incoming fleet. A message arrived across all frequencies, broadcast in perfect English. "People of Earth, we come as representatives of the Galactic Empire. Your world has been chosen to join our great confederation of species. Prepare to receive our ambassador." Walker didn't like it. Something about the message felt wrong. Too polished, too perfect. He ordered immediate activation of the planetary shield grid, a network of satellites that had cost trillions to build. Better safe than sorry. The Empire's ambassador arrived in a small shuttle that landed at the newly built First Contact Center in Geneva. The alien, who called himself Representative Smith, a name clearly chosen to sound familiar to humans, looked almost human except for his slightly bluish skin and completely black eyes. "We offer you advancement," Smith said to the gathered world leaders. "Your species will benefit from our technology, our knowledge, and our protection." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "All we ask in return is your cooperation and reasonable access to your planet's resources." But while Smith spoke to Earth's leaders, something unexpected happened. The junior analyst named Mark Wilson, working deep in the Cyber Defense Department, intercepted a data stream from the ambassador's ship. What he found changed everything. "Sir," Wilson called Walker on a secure line. "You need to see this." His voice shook slightly. "They're not here to help us. I have their internal communications. They're lying about everything." The data painted a horrible picture. Every world that had joined the Empire had been stripped of its resources. The Confederation was nothing but a fancy word for slavery. Whole civilizations had been reduced to working in mines and factories, building ships and weapons for the Empire's endless expansion. Walker took the evidence to the Emergency Council. The room erupted in angry shouts as the truth became clear. Images showed once beautiful worlds turned into wastelands, their populations working as slaves in massive industrial complexes. "We need to act fast," said Dr. Linda Green, Earth's leading physicist. "But we have one advantage they don't know about." She pulled up diagrams of Earth's technology. "They think we're primitive because we still use different technologies than they do. But that's our strength. We never standardized everything like they did." The council made its decision. When Smith returned the next day, expecting Earth's surrender document, he found something very different waiting for him. "Representative Smith," the council head spoke firmly, "we have reviewed your offer and examined your true intentions." Smith's face didn't change, but his hands tightened slightly on his chair. "Earth declines to join your empire. Furthermore, we are declaring our entire solar system off-limits to your forces." Smith laughed, the sound sharp and cold. "You don't have a choice. No single world can stand against the Empire. Accept our generous offer, or face the consequences." "We've made our decision," Walker said, stepping forward. "You have 6 hours to remove your fleet from our solar system." As Smith's shuttle left Earth's atmosphere, Walker turned to his staff. "Send the alert to all defense stations, and get me Project Shield's commander. It's time to show the Empire why they shouldn't have underestimated Earth." The first battle for Earth's freedom was about to begin, and humanity was ready to prove that sometimes the smallest dogs bite the hardest. Earth's message was simple. This world was not for sale, and the Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson about human determination. Dr. Linda Green was about to change history. She stood in the underground research facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, surrounded by Earth's most advanced technology. Screens filled with data covered the walls, showing comparisons between human and Imperial tech. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a detailed analysis. The other scientists gathered around her workstation. The Empire uses the same standardized power system for everything, but we developed hundreds of different ways to generate and store energy. The discovery had started 3 days ago when they captured an Imperial scout ship. Instead of the advanced technology they expected, they found something surprising. The Empire's tech was efficient but inflexible. They had one way of doing things, and they stuck to it. "Their ships all used the same shield frequency," said Professor Robert Miller, his eyes wide with excitement. "They've been using the same technology for so long. They stopped innovating, but we never stopped. We kept finding new ways to solve old problems." In another part of the facility, Commander David Thompson watched as his team tested Earth's weapons against Imperial armor samples. The results were shocking. While some weapons did nothing, others cut through the alien metal like it was paper. "Their defense systems are designed to stop their own weapons," Thompson explained to Admiral Walker. "They never considered that someone might attack them differently." He pointed to a screen showing test results. "Our old-fashioned railguns. They go right through their shields. The Empire focused so much on energy weapons, they forgot about simple physics. But Earth's greatest advantage lay in its computers. While the Empire used quantum computers for everything, Earth had developed a mix of technologies. Ancient silicon chips worked alongside quantum processors, creating systems that were impossible to hack using standard Imperial methods. "They can't even read our old computer systems," laughed Jack Foster, head of cybersecurity. "It's like trying to hack a typewriter. There's nothing to hack." His team had already created viruses that could slip past Imperial defenses, hiding in code that seemed too primitive to be a threat. The breakthrough came when they tested Earth's experimental defense systems. The Empire's scanners couldn't detect them because they were looking for the wrong things. Earth used everything from gravity manipulation to old-school electromagnetic jamming, creating a defense network unlike anything the Empire had seen before. "We're not behind them," Dr. Green announced in the emergency meeting with world leaders. "We're just different, and that's our strength." She showed them the data. "Their ships are more advanced in some ways, but they're all the same. We have thousands of different technologies working together." The leaders watched as she demonstrated how Earth's varied defenses could adapt and change. While Imperial ships could only adjust their shields in one way, Earth's defenses could switch between dozens of different systems instantly. "They think we're primitive because we still use fossil fuels alongside fusion power," Miller added. "But that means we can't be cut off. If one system fails, we have backups for our backups." The meeting was interrupted by an alert. Imperial ships were moving closer, probably planning their first attack. But now Earth had a plan. "Let them come," Walker said, studying the tactical display. "Every weapon they use will teach us more about their weaknesses." He turned to Dr. Green. "How long until the new defense systems are ready?" 24 hours for the basic grid," she replied. "But we're adding new systems every hour. The more time they give us, the stronger we'll be." Around the world, factories that had been making cars and phones switched to producing weapons and defense systems. Unlike the Empire's standardized production lines, Earth's industries could adapt quickly, creating new tools for the coming fight. "Send this data to every research center on Earth," Walker ordered. "Let everyone work on solutions. Someone might find something we missed." As the sun set over the facility, Dr. Green looked at the Imperial fleet through a powerful telescope. They were so confident, so sure of their superiority. They had no idea that their greatest weakness was the very standardization they were so proud of. Earth was ready to show the galaxy that sometimes the best technology isn't the most advanced. It's the most adaptable. The Empire was about to learn that humanity's primitive solutions could be their worst nightmare. The true power of Earth's technology wasn't in its advancement, but in its diversity. And that was something the Empire had forgotten long ago. The holographic image of Admiral Walker flickered in command centers around the world as he delivered the news. The Empire has issued their final warning. They're demanding our surrender within 12 hours. The massive Imperial command ship hung in space like a dark star, its message broadcasting on all frequencies. Your primitive defiance is futile. Submit to Imperial rule or face immediate pacification. This is your only warning. Below, in the vast underground complex of Global Defense Command, technicians worked frantically to complete the planetary shield network. Project Shield wasn't ready yet. They needed more time. They're trying to frighten us, Walker said to the Emergency Council. But we have something they don't expect. He nodded to Dr. Green, who stepped forward with her latest findings. We've decoded more of their tactical data, she announced, bringing up detailed schematics. Every conquest follows the same pattern. They strike communication centers first, then power grids. But they don't know about our backup systems. The council members watched as she demonstrated Earth's hidden advantage. While the Empire targeted modern satellite networks, Earth's old radio systems stood ready. When they hit power plants, local microgrids would keep cities running. Every attack they planned had already been countered. But there's more, Dr. Green continued. We found something in their historical records. The Empire hasn't faced real resistance in over 1,000 years. They've forgotten how to fight an enemy that fights back. Outside the bunker, the world prepared for war. But this preparation didn't look like the Empire expected. Instead of massive military buildups, Earth's defense was invisible. Old technology was brought back online. Mechanical systems replaced digital ones. Every city had a plan to go dark but keep running. The Empire's ultimatum reached every screen on Earth. Images of their mighty fleets, their world-destroying weapons, their unstoppable armies. They expected panic. Instead, they got laughter. Look at their ships, Professor Miller pointed out during the global broadcast. All identical, all with the same weaknesses. They're showing us exactly how to beat them. His presentation revealed how Earth's varied weapons could target multiple vulnerabilities simultaneously. Commander Thompson's voice came over the secure channel. Defense stations report ready. They're looking for energy shields, but we're using gravity fields. They scan for power signatures, but we're running on shielded systems they can't detect. The hours ticked by. In homes across the planet, people watched and waited. But they weren't afraid. The Empire's threats had done something unexpected. They had united humanity like never before. They gave us their biggest weakness. Jack Foster reported from cybersecurity. Their message systems are too perfect, too standardized. We've already planted confusion viruses in their communication network. When they attack, half their fleet will receive different orders. 10 hours into the ultimatum, Earth made its move. Walker stood before the global cameras, his message broadcasting to both humanity and the Empire above. We've seen your true face, he declared. We've found the worlds you destroyed, the civilizations you enslaved. We've decoded your lies. He paused, letting the words sink in. Humanity rejects your empire. We reject your ultimatum, and we have a message of our own. The screen switched to showing the evidence. Imperial prison worlds, stripped planets, enslaved populations. The Empire's threats were replaced by their true history of destruction and exploitation. You thought we would surrender out of fear, Walker continued. But we've spent our entire history fighting against tyrants like you. Earth will not bow. Earth will not break. And after we defeat you, we will free every world you've enslaved. The Empire's response was immediate. Their ships began moving into attack formation. But Earth was ready. All stations, Walker commanded, initiate protocol darkness. Across the planet, cities went dark. Power signatures vanished. Communication networks seemed to fail. To the Empire's sensors, Earth appeared to be having a global technological collapse. But in hidden bunkers, underground bases, and hardened facilities, humanity's real defense systems powered up. The Empire was about to attack what they thought was a helpless planet. They were about to learn why you should never underestimate a species that had spent its entire history preparing for war, even wars they couldn't imagine. Earth's message was clear. The Empire's ultimatum wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of their downfall. The Empire struck at dawn. Their ships descended through Earth's atmosphere like falling stars, expecting an easy victory. But humanity was ready. They're following the exact pattern we predicted, Commander Thompson reported from the main defense hub. First wave targeting power stations and communication centers, just like every other world they've conquered. Admiral Walker watched the tactical display as thousands of Imperial fighters filled the skies. Let them think they've succeeded. Wait for my signal. The Empire's first shots hit empty buildings and abandoned power plants. Their sensors showed Earth's technology going dark, cities losing power, and communication networks failing. Everything was going according to their standard invasion plan. Then Walker gave the order: activate Defense Grid Alpha. Across the globe, hidden weapons platforms emerged from underground bunkers and ocean depths. Old missile silos, long thought abandoned, opened their rusted doors. But instead of traditional missiles, they launched something the Empire had never seen before. Electromagnetic pulse nets. Activated, Dr. Green confirmed. The sky filled with invisible fields that caught Imperial fighters like flies in a web. Their standardized engines, all operating on the same frequency, simply stopped working. Second wave incoming. Thompson announced. They're launching their ground forces. Imperial dropships descended toward major cities, carrying troops in identical powered armor suits. They expected to find panicked civilians. Instead, they found empty streets and a surprise. Activate the sonic defense grid, Walker commanded. The Empire's soldiers suddenly found their advanced armor suits turning against them. Earth's scientists had discovered that their neural control systems all operated on the same frequency. A precise sonic pulse could disrupt them all at once. They're adapting, Foster warned from his cybersecurity station. Their command ships are changing tactics. The Empire's larger ships began firing their main weapons, trying to overwhelm Earth's defenses with pure power. Energy beams capable of cracking planets struck Earth's atmosphere. But instead of destruction, they found something impossible. The beams split apart, divided by invisible fields that Earth's scientists had created by studying the Empire's own technology. Railgun batteries, open fire, Walker ordered. Across the planet, hidden installations launched simple metal projectiles at near-light speed. The Empire's shields, designed to stop energy weapons, couldn't handle the physical impact. Ships began falling from the sky. Their formation is breaking, Thompson reported with a grin. They've never seen their shields fail before. They don't know how to fight without them. The Empire's commanders, faced with failure for the first time in centuries, made their fatal mistake. They ordered all ships to switch to their secondary shields, the same type, at the same frequency across their entire fleet. Now, Walker commanded. Dr. Green activated Earth's secret weapon, a pulse of focused gravity designed specifically to match the frequency of Imperial shields, rippled across the battlefield. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then Imperial ships began dropping from the sky like stones. Their standardized shields, all operating on exactly the same principle, failed simultaneously. They're retreating, Foster announced. Their command network is in chaos. Half their ships are receiving contradictory orders thanks to our virus. The battle had lasted less than an hour. The mighty Empire, which had conquered 1,000 worlds, had just suffered its first major defeat. Send the message, Walker ordered. Across all frequencies, Earth broadcast its response to the Empire's attack. Your standardized tactics have failed. Your identical weapons have failed. Your uniform strategy has failed. This was just our first line of defense. Retreat now or face our real weapons. In orbit, the surviving Imperial ships fled in disorder. Their commanders couldn't understand how a primitive world had defeated their perfect technology. But in the Defense Command Center, humanity's defenders knew the truth. The Empire's greatest strength, their standardization, had become their greatest weakness. They had forgotten that true strength comes from diversity, from having multiple solutions to every problem. "They'll be back," Walker said, watching the Imperial ships vanish into deep space. "But next time, we'll be even better prepared." Earth had won its first battle against the Empire, not through superior technology, but through the very primitive diversity the Empire had mocked. It was a lesson the galaxy would never forget. And it was only the beginning. 3 weeks after Earth's first victory, Project SHIELD was ready. Dr. Green stood before the Global Command Center, her hand hovering over the activation switch that would change everything. "Once we turn this on," she explained, "there's no going back. The energy requirements will be enormous." She looked at the assembled leaders. "But it will make Earth untouchable." The shield generators were unlike anything humanity had built before. They combined every type of defensive technology Earth had ever developed: electromagnetic fields, gravity manipulation, quantum barriers, and even some principles borrowed from the Empire's own shields. "All power stations report ready," Commander Thompson announced. Every power plant on Earth, from nuclear to solar, from fusion to the old coal plants kept as backups, was about to feed their energy into a single system. Admiral Walker gave the order: "Activate Project SHIELD." Dr. Green pressed the switch. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the sky began to change. A faint, iridescent shimmer appeared high in the atmosphere, spreading like ripples in a pond until it covered the entire planet. "Shield integrity at 100%, Professor Miller reported from his station. "All layers operating at full power." The screen showed something remarkable. Earth was now encased in multiple layers of overlapping defenses, each using different principles of physics. "Incoming Imperial ships detected," Foster warned. "Looks like they're back for round 2. The Empire had returned with an even larger fleet. Their ships filled the sky, weapons charged and ready. But this time, they found something very different waiting for them. Their first shots struck the outer layer of Earth's shield. Instead of trying to block the energy, the shield absorbed it, feeding the power back into its own systems. The more they fired, the stronger Earth's defenses became. "They're trying to analyze the shield," Foster reported with a grin. "But each scan shows them something different. They can't figure out how it works because it's using a dozen different technologies at once." The Empire's commanders, frustrated by this impossible defense, launched their biggest weapon, a planet cracker beam that had destroyed countless worlds before. The massive energy beam struck Earth's shield and bounced back. "Reflection layer working perfectly," Dr. Green announced proudly. Their own weapon just damaged 3 of their ships. The Imperial fleet tried everything in their standard playbook. They launched missiles. The shield's gravity fields caught them and safely detonated them in space. They tried to drill through with focused particle beams. The shield's quantum layer scattered the particles harmlessly. They even attempted to teleport troops through. But Earth scientists had studied their technology and created specific defenses against it. "Message from the Imperial flagship," Foster announced. "They're demanding to know how we created this impossible defense." Walker smiled. "Tell them it's quite simple. We just didn't limit ourselves to one solution." The truth was beautiful in its simplicity. While the Empire had spent centuries perfecting a single type of shield, humanity had kept every defense it had ever created. The new shield combined them all: electromagnetic deflectors from the 21st century working alongside modern quantum fields, ancient radio jamming techniques protecting against Imperial scanners, and even simple physical barriers backing up the energy shields. "They're retreating again," Thompson reported. "But this time they're leaving observation satellites." "Let them watch," Dr. Green said. Let them see that their standardized weapons can't touch us. Maybe they'll finally learn that uniformity isn't strength. The shield hummed softly overhead, its multiple layers shifting and changing constantly. Unlike the Empire's static defenses, Earth's shield was alive, adapting, learning. Every attack made it stronger. Every scan taught it new tricks. Send the message to all Earth's colonies and outposts, Walker ordered. The shield design is being transmitted now. Soon our entire solar system will be protected. As the Imperial fleet vanished into deep space, humanity celebrated not just their survival, but their vindication. The Empire's one-size-fits-all approach to technology had been defeated by Earth's messy, complicated, beautiful diversity of solutions. The Great Shield stood as proof that humanity's greatest strength was its ability to try everything, to keep every tool, to never stop finding new ways to solve old problems. Earth was no longer just defending itself. It was showing the galaxy a new way to resist. Deep inside the Imperial command ship, Admiral Rex paced furiously. The latest attack on Earth had failed, just like the previous 5 attempts. His fleet's most powerful weapons hadn't even scratched the planet's mysterious shield. How? He demanded, slamming his fist on the holographic display. How can one primitive world resist the full might of our empire? Back on Earth, Admiral Walker watched the Imperial ships through the shield's transparent sections. The enemy fleet had grown desperate, trying increasingly dangerous tactics. They'd attempted to drain Earth's oceans, alter its orbit, even crack its moon. But nothing worked. "They're getting sloppy," Commander Thompson observed. "Look at their formation. Gaps everywhere. They're not following standard protocol anymore." The Empire's perfect discipline was breaking down. Their ships, designed to fight in precise patterns, were now moving chaotically as their commanders tried anything to break through Earth's defenses. "Sir," Foster called from his station, "we're picking up something interesting. Transmissions from other worlds. They're watching us. The Empire can't keep our resistance secret anymore." The tactical displays showed hundreds of signals coming from distant planets. The Empire's subject worlds had heard about Earth's successful defense, and hope was spreading through the galaxy. Dr. Green rushed into the command center with urgent news. "We've decoded more of their database," she announced. "The Empire is facing internal problems. Some of their oldest member worlds are questioning their leadership." Walker smiled. "Send them our shield designs." Earth had made a bold decision. Instead of keeping their defensive technology secret, they were sharing it with any world that wanted to resist the Empire. The plans were simplified, adapted to work with whatever technology a planet had available. First successful test reported. Foster announced excitedly. A mining colony in the Centauri sector activated their version of our shield. Imperial forces couldn't break through. The Empire's response was swift and brutal. They launched their largest attack yet on Earth. 1,000 ships, their weapons modified to try new frequencies, new angles, new tactics. "They're burning out their engines," Thompson noted as they watched the assault, pushing their technology beyond safe limits. The shield held. Not only held but grew stronger, its adaptive layers learning from each new attack. Earth's defense system was evolving faster than the Empire could develop new weapons. "Message intercepted," Foster reported grimly. "They're calling for their ultimate weapon. Something called the World Eater." The World Eater arrived 3 days later, a ship larger than anything humanity had ever seen. Its weapon wasn't designed to destroy planets but to consume them, breaking them down into raw materials for the Empire's endless expansion. "Let them try," Dr. Green said confidently. "Our shield doesn't just protect, it learns." The World Eater fired its main weapon, a beam of pure destruction that had devoured dozens of worlds. It struck Earth's shield, and something unprecedented happened. The shield didn't just block the beam, it reversed it. The World Eater, pride of the Imperial fleet, found its own weapon turned against it. The massive ship cracked apart, its remains scattered across space as a warning to the Empire. "Sir," Foster called out, his voice filled with excitement. The transmissions are spreading. 3 more worlds have activated their shields. The Empire's ships can't break through any of them. Walker nodded in satisfaction. Send the next package. Show them how to build their own weapons. Earth had become more than just a resistant world. It was becoming a beacon of hope, teaching others how to fight back. The Empire's greatest nightmare was coming true. Their subjects were learning that resistance wasn't just possible, it was winning. The Imperial fleet is retreating again, Thompson reported. But this time they're not just running. They're being recalled. There's panic in their communications. The Empire's perfect order was crumbling. Their standardized military, faced with spreading rebellion and weapons they couldn't counter, was falling into chaos. Earth had done the impossible. Not only had it resisted the irresistible Empire, but it had also shown the galaxy that the Empire wasn't invincible after all. The age of imperial domination was ending. The age of freedom was beginning, and it had all started because one primitive world had refused to kneel. 1 year after Earth's first defiance, the galaxy had changed forever. Admiral Walker stood at the new Galactic Communication Center, watching holographic displays showing hundreds of liberated worlds, each protected by their own version of Earth's shield technology. Another Imperial fleet surrendered today, Commander Thompson reported. Their crews are requesting asylum. They say they're tired of fighting for a losing side. The Empire's once mighty military was falling apart. Their ships, designed for conquest, couldn't adapt to the new reality of defended worlds. Every attack failed, every strategy was countered, and every defeat inspired more worlds to resist. Message from the Resistance on Terra Nova, Foster announced. They've successfully activated their shield. The Imperial forces there had no choice but to retreat. He grinned. That makes 50 worlds freed this month alone. Dr. Green entered the chamber, carrying data from her latest project. The Empire's trying to copy our technology, she said, but they can't understand it. They keep trying to make one perfect shield instead of understanding that the power comes from combining different systems. Earth had become the center of a new movement. Ships arrived daily, carrying representatives from worlds seeking knowledge, seeking hope, seeking freedom. The planet that had once been called primitive was now teaching the galaxy about true advancement. The Imperial capital is in chaos, Foster reported, monitoring their long-range communications. Their economy is collapsing. They built everything around controlling other worlds' resources. Now they can't access any of them. Walker nodded. Send the offer again. Earth's message to the Empire was simple: surrender peacefully and help build a new galactic community, or face complete isolation. More and more Imperial worlds were choosing cooperation over conflict. Look at this, Thompson said, pointing to a tactical display. Remember their standardized ships. Now everyone's building their own designs. Every freed world is developing new technologies, new ways of thinking. The Empire's greatest legacy, its uniformity, was being replaced by an explosion of diversity. Freed worlds weren't just copying Earth's technology. They were improving it, adapting it, creating new combinations Earth had never imagined. We're receiving a priority transmission, Foster announced suddenly. It's from the Imperial Palace itself. The message appeared on the main screen. After 1,000 years of rule, the Empire was officially surrendering. Not to Earth alone, but to the new alliance of free worlds that Earth had helped create. They're requesting a meeting, Foster continued, to discuss terms for their peaceful integration into the new galactic community. Walker smiled. Tell them they're welcome to visit, but remind them Earth's shield stays active. Some habits die hard. The final victory hadn't come from military might or advanced technology. It had come from something the Empire had forgotten long ago: the power of diversity, of innovation, of letting every world find its own path. Message from the Science Division, Dr. Green said. The combined research teams from 20 different worlds have developed something new, a form of faster-than-light travel that doesn't rely on Imperial technology at all. The galaxy was entering a new age. The rigid structures of the Empire were being replaced by a network of independent worlds, each contributing their unique perspectives and innovations to the greater whole. Earth had changed too. Once isolated in its solar system, it was now a hub of galactic culture and technology. But it never forgot the lesson that had saved it. True strength comes from diversity, from keeping old knowledge while seeking new understanding. Send the final declaration, Walker ordered, across the galaxy, on every world that had ever known Imperial rule. The message appeared. The age of empire is over. The age of freedom has begun. Every world is sovereign. Every path is valid. Together, we move forward. The empire that had ruled 1,000 worlds had been defeated not by superior weapons or stronger shields, but by an idea that every world deserves to choose its own destiny. And it had all started because Earth had posted a simple sign in space: Entry forbidden. As Walker looked out at the stars, now filled with ships of every design and worlds of every culture, he knew that humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy hadn't been its technology. It had been its stubborn insistence that being different wasn't just acceptable, it was essential. The new order had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.